Hey guys, this is Kelly Doherty, and for this week's video blog post, I want to talk about flipped classrooms. I read this article on utopia.org, and it's called Making Your Flipped Classroom More Human by Michael Ralph, and this was posted in the June 2008 articles. So, flipped classrooms, you may have heard of them, you may not. But essentially, what a flipped classroom is where the students watch pre-recorded videos, and then prior to coming to class, and then they come to class armed with questions and at least some background knowledge before the main content is presented. It's been a pretty popular technology teaching strategy in the past couple of years, and several people have implemented the model. And so Michael Ralph, the author of this article, kind of gives his experience about what not to do and how he learned from his first flipped classroom experience. So a little bit of background is that he was a high school biology teacher, and his flipped classroom had really great test scores, and they were making lots of progress. But over time, he noticed that his enrollment numbers were dropping dramatically because people were losing interest in his course. And he just couldn't understand why, because he had all these great modules and curriculum guides, and everything was nice and neatly organized, but it was lacking the human component. And so he started reviewing his procedures and getting feedback from students, and he came up with the 3 do's of a flipped classroom. And so the first do that he talks about is that humans respond to faces, and so that everyone wants to have some type of contact with another person, even if it is a total online learning community. And so he decided that in the discussion post forum, like we do in D2L, that instead of students always responding with a written response, that he would allow students to make videos and talk through their answers through a video post. And he said that students became more comfortable with this and wanted to do this option. The next do that he gave was that relationships are about give and take. And he said that he noticed that students would go in and complete the class checklist and get everything done that needed to be finished and read all the assigned materials, but they weren't providing any feedback. And so he put in a requirement that that students had to respond and add at least 2 differing points to another classmate's response. And he said it had to be different points and something that connected and would add and make the conversation piece better. And again, this is like our D2L. So then the last thing that he said was that there's no replacement for human real world connections. And so this kind of is a little bit opposing to the flipped classroom, but it still can be considered a flipped strategy. But it's where he started the conversation first in his classroom. Sometimes just through classroom discussion, through debates, and it got the ball rolling for students. He found that they needed a little bit of prompting, especially with their age, to kind of get them rolling on the topic. And so if they held a debate about a topic in the classroom, they would debate it and then go online and debate the opposing argument. And so he still was utilizing the technology component, but he was flipping that. So those are just his 3 do's. Kind of my takeaways and that I got from the article is that as much as technology is changing, it's very rapid and it feels like we can't keep up. Regardless, students adult students, everyone still likes to have that social connection and social piece with others. We do like the conveniences of the online format. I know I do in my program, but when it comes down to it, I do like to have connections with other people. And another thing is that um, social connections improved student behavior, and he noticed that once he added that social community piece into it, is that the motivation for students increased, his enrollment went up, and he was able to even have more learning and understanding in those social communities. So technology should serve us and help us, but it shouldn't replace everything. And so I enjoyed this article. I thought it could be applied to a lot of different formats, and especially in my work setting. So I welcome your comments and your feedback, and just let me know what you think. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.